All right, ready? Sweet. I had absolutely no dating experience until I was 25. Didn't hold anyone's hand, no first kiss, yet I had theories about how relationships worked. Then I actually started dating and my perspectives really started to broaden on it and changed. And I'd love to share with you the contrast between my beliefs before I was dating and then after. Some context about me. I've been told that I'm a tryhard. And as a kid, I was intensely serious. And when it came to dating, I was living in a framework that just didn't work. So everything I'm about to say is me, some relationships later, updating my old point of view. Let's start with the one that surprised me the most. I stopped looking for the most attractive person and I started looking for the people who get more attractive over time. This was a big one. And I'm not just talking about physical attraction either. When I was younger, I had the idea of finding the right person, someone who was just extremely right for me. And honestly, I just can't know how right someone is for me by looking at them. I mean, maybe if I had the opportunity to watch them for an extended period of time and in a lot of different scenarios, but that's not real life. And I think it's obvious that that's not ideal even if it was possible because it's very one way. You would be observing them and learning about them without being vulnerable and being seen yourself. So here's the reframe that changed everything for me. We've all heard people say, one day, the person you're with is gonna be old and wrinkly, so you need to like who they are. Here's another way to say that. The right people get more attractive over time. This is a mindset shift that goes from it's what's on their outside that counts, or it's what's on their inside that counts, to a different framework that focuses on what we can become together. I have a bunch of examples of things that are really important to me, like a long list including fitness, nutrition, and lots of stuff related to overall health. There's also deep connection and creativity and responsibility and other things. And I would like for my person to have their own relationship with those things. But none of those things would be a deal breaker. A deal breaker is someone who is not looking to grow or become more for themselves or for others. Because you can start doing fitness or you can learn a new recipe or learn how to communicate within a relationship that gives you deep connection. I think people are amazing and can pick up anything at just about any stage in life. And a person who's aware of that 10 years from now has grown into a hero of their own. People who lean in instead of leaning out, and someone who chooses a little discomfort at the right times instead of always choosing comfort. I think that philosophy can be shared and a value or values can be explored together. And that's my optimistic view on relationships. And nothing about it is easy or quick. But if you find someone who's not closed off, they're open, they're curious, they're willing. Being open takes humility. It takes the ability to listen, to process, to not be stuck. I have older friends who I've heard say that now because they're in their 30s, they won't change for anybody. And I've always thought when I hear that, there's no growth without change. So my real deal breaker isn't some giant list of boxes that need to be checked off today. My deal breaker is a closed mind. And I won't really find out if someone has a closed mind or not without this second topic. I can't know you without digging a little. This one's connected, and for the longest time, I was solid on two ideas related to this. The first idea was a date to marry mindset. And the second was that who you marry is the most important decision of your life. You know, we're only talking about the rest of your life. And these are important concepts to me still, but they deserve some more flexibility and humanity than I was giving them. Dating to marry sounds noble. But I took it so seriously as a teenager and in my early 20s that I closed doors without even really looking through them. If a girl showed interest, I'd already said no in my head. That's a lot of pressure, and it really shouldn't be approached so robotically. Dating to marry should mean going and having fun with this person and building memories and purposing to learn all about them throughout the process, not all at once. You're dating on your way to marriage, where you then burn the boats, cutting off all other options because you're saying, I could do this with you for a lifetime, and I don't want any distractions from us being everything that we can be. So I guess I feel like I'm trying to say that when I was young, I approached marriage as a concept first, which is kind of like living in my head. And through living in my head, I didn't even go on one first date. I'd say to myself that I'm only gonna date you if I'm gonna marry you. And I took zero risks, not realizing that I need to date you to find out if I'm gonna marry you. That doesn't need to be 6 months of dating. It could literally just be a first date. Now, I think that each person kind of has their own bubble, their own world. You can't stand across the room, look at them, and know their interior. The only way to learn anything real about someone is to go float alongside them in their world for a while. If that's an hour, maybe that turns into a day, and that becomes a week, and so on. And it's not important that there's this narrative that you knew they were the one from the moment that you saw them. It's significant enough that everything you've been together has led to a realization that this is your person. There's an idea from J.R.R. Tolkien that I love, and I've heard from several people in one way or another, and it's that to some degree, all relationships are a mistake. Your soulmate is the person you've decided to be with. And younger me was ready to wait until I was 40 years old to find my person, when really, what I thought was patience was me just not taking action and never deciding that any one person was worth it. And I don't think that there's anything in that that's more noble or courageous than taking a great leap with someone, flawed as you are, and choosing each other. Okay, so the third topic is having the strength and humility to lean on your partner. And I feel like I'm developed enough at being a single individual that this is uniquely hard for me. I've loved the idea of two individually strong, individually capable people coming together, and that's a power couple. That's a perfect relationship between two complete people. And I'd really carried that idea with me as someone who'd never been in a relationship. But dating has taught me that my need to be individually strong can become a weakness for the relationship. Money is my big example. When I met my girlfriend, I'd just gone from making basically nothing to making about $18,000. Months later, I fought my way up to about $36,000. And this is in 2025. Stuff's expensive. I'm making beans, earning less than I spend. And the whole time, I'm burning through my savings to invest in an opportunity I really believe in, telling myself, this is gonna pay off. And I'm taking that leap of faith in a career, and I'm trying to be patient, and I'm trying to be strong. And some 90+% of the time, I'm hiding my burdens and my stress from my girlfriend. It's almost like my mindset is that I'm the one who decided to juggle all the balls I'm juggling and to take on all the weight that I'm carrying. And so it doesn't feel like it makes sense to me or is fair to co-juggle my stuff or to even ask for that or to share the weight of my burden. And if there's one thing that I've learned in this relationship, it's that if I could just communicate my reality more fully and completely with my girlfriend, that alone is helping to share the burden, to be understood and to be known. And this is the number one way that I think I've ever failed in a relationship. Maybe, just maybe, because the whole point of being on this earth isn't to just work and earning money, but I do have responsibility. Maybe we can know together when there's a very hard day or a very hard week or month and find ways to decompress or exhale that really helps. We can think through those things together. And if there's no way to exhale or decompress, maybe you've taken on too much responsibility. And the real solution is to make a change. And that's absolutely something for us both to talk about. It's been one of the hardest years of my life, and right there alongside me has been my girlfriend. She's watched me not have money, not have the ability to go on and like do dates, and yet I've hidden from her, or at least I've tried to, just how incredibly frustrated I am with myself and how frustrated I am with so much of my situation. And really, I want to be able to provide and lead and be on my own 2 feet, but not once in the time that I've dated her have I gotten to enjoy that, what feels like a fantasy. But to slow down, it turns out in the relationships I respect the most, the people in them are able to lean on each other. And I just don't talk enough about my stresses because I don't want them to become our stresses. But I've got it backwards. It's actually stronger to let them become our stresses. I started thinking about it from the other side. If my partner were really struggling, I would want her to come to me with it so that I could carry some of that and help somehow. And when you've got a partner literally telling you that I have a partner literally telling me that they are willing to do that, they want to do that, but I still don't, that's not a strength, it's a wall. Throughout my teenage years, I'd watch various friends hop from one relationship to the next without being single for more than 2 weeks at a time. I'd tell them that they need to learn how to be alone, that they don't even know how to sit in a quiet room with themselves to think and feel and figure out where they're at. And I was good at being alone. 25 years of it. I built a whole life vision for myself in that solitude. But when I started dating, my brain chemistry literally changed. I experienced life with someone, and the first time I went through a breakup at 25, the loudest thought in my brain was, wow, I don't want to be alone. I never got that feeling before then. Now, family helps, friends help, and sure, on the surface, jumping into a new relationship can help you get by emotionally. But I still advocate with just being able to be with yourself. But there are a lot of ways where just being with the right person is better. When I'm on my own, every single day is a fight to get it all right. The gym, eating well, cutting work off at a reasonable time, good morning and night routines. But with a good partner, you help each other do all of it. You do dinner together without screens. You go on a fart walk afterwards, and you talk and you connect, and that's genuinely good for your brain and resets you. And it allows you to exhale all the stuff that you inhaled that day. So in a lot of ways, life is actually harder alone than when you're with someone who supports you and knows you. The right person applies a kind of loving pressure that makes every day fuller. Your goals change. You're not totally self-centered, and your goals become more of a conversation. They get a little self-sacrificing in a good way, because you want to understand and support this other person's dreams as much as your own. And I think over time, those lines might start to blur. My goals become our goals, her goals become our goals. There might be things that previously I'd honestly say I never cared about, but I value it because she values it. And the last one, I stopped performing because this relationship is not for anyone else. Kid me living in my head had a narrative running underneath the surface of all my actions or inactions, somewhat performative. I was thinking about what my parents thought, what my brothers thought, what my friends and everyone on the outside thought. This is a huge shift for me now that I've started dating and have grown up a bit. I realized that none of the appearances matter outside of the connection I have and that I get to protect with my person. I might look like a fool to other people, and it would be a waste of energy to really try to control that. I'll go through whatever I need to go through with my person to be with them. And honestly, nothing external needs to get a vote on my choice. I'm someone who often asks for advice, for counsel, for guidance in life. I am interested in opinions of other people who have life experience and a heart to help, but I will not mistake their opinion for a choice that I make with my own timing. We build our own family. It's not just like a situation of me coming into their family or them coming into my family, but I believe that we build our own with a little bit of our own culture and our own quirks and ways. And I think I've learned that performance for the sake of each other's parents, siblings, each other's friends can be a distraction from each other. So if you're anything like me, if you didn't date for the longest time and you built a whole theory of relationships in your head before testing any of it, here's what I'd leave you with. The thread running through all 5 of these thoughts is humility, reminding myself often that I'm not perfect. So I should check how much perfection I'm quietly demanding from everybody else. And humility isn't degrading yourself. It's not pushing yourself down. It has nothing to do with how strong you are or how well you lead. It's just a more honest, realistic view of yourself. The kind of view that changes how much pressure you put on other people. If your goal is to not be the same person 10 years from now that you are today, and if you can see even one way that you're imperfect and have room to grow, and if you want to be in a relationship, then go find somebody who's open, someone willing to grow alongside you, to be a partner in all of your own individual ways and eventually fully with you. This isn't my normal financial content, but if you like the change up as I talk about relationships this once, please let me know in the comments and hit subscribe for a new video next week. I'll see you then.